I'm excited to be here for 30 minutes. Wow, in fact, it's the first epi of the new year. So,
Yeah,
hey Keith, welcome. Looks like Keith is here.
nice.
So, we're going to we're going to do this. This is epi number 600, Your Solution Live. Welcome. Jim is with us all the way from Tucson, Arizona. I did some exercise before coming on the show, and once again, we're going to look at this topic of actually, how can you win? How to win? How to win? Is it even possible to win today? Is it even possible with all the challenges that we've got going on? Jim spoke about the internal conflict. Okay. The internal conflict. And we're also going to look at this topic of depression. Depression. So stay with us. Turn down every distraction, grab a pen, get a piece of paper, get some chocolate, some light chocolate milk, if you will. I don't know, maybe some popcorn, a little rice cake, if you will. Settle in, drop a question, a subscribe, and a share if you like, and join us. Jim, you want to give us share a little piece of some insight of not how to win yet. Let's not talk about how to win. Let's talk about what
Yeah,
what is this thing?
yeah. I want to
What
go
is
and talk about this internal conflict. It seems like we drain ourselves of a lot of emotional energy when there's conflict in our mind. I mean, and I think it has to do a lot with how we've been conditioned and programmed. What's the right thing to do? What's the wrong thing to do? You kind of like are always having this battle of weighing your options and what do I have to gain, what do I have to lose if I say this. I'm standing up for my rights, but if I do it, people might not like me. I could have some, I could build some enemies. See
could
all these kinds of things that are like you're trying to figure out. Your brain is trying to process, what is the right thing to do. And when we have this conflict, it drains us of our energy. It could lead to depression too, like you were talking about before. Um, Internal conflict. So that's something that I brought up last week, and I'd probably like to go and talk about that because we should be spending our energy on ways to make ourselves better and happier, not to constantly fight with ourselves, not constantly fight with ourselves. So, yeah, that's what I'd like us to go and talk about. Looks like Santos is gone here. But anyway, let's see who's here. Keith is here. Good evening, Keith. Uh, Ivan Lord, Happy New Year to you. Great, fantastic. Does anyone want to go ahead and share how their New Year's are coming along in this new 2026? This year, okay, here we go. Okay, good evening, Jim. New year, new time. Yes, that's right. New year, new time. I'm working on my keto diet again, working on exercises. I was scouring Facebook Marketplace and I was able to pick up like a home gym for only $20. Home gym for $20. I was a little bit intimidated by trying to disassemble it, but it was pretty easy. Just take out a few bolts and extract the weights. But yeah, so I have a new home gym. I have a salt cycle, and I've been working on.
Okay, there we go.
Hope looks like Santos is back.
Sorry about that. Let me see. Uh, uh, I'm trying to I'm trying to fix our layout here so that we can at least. There we go. We better now. Let me see. No, not there. There we go. All right. A little bit of technical difficulty. Just that's all. Thank you guys for joining in. I appreciate all you guys. By the way, this is the first episode of the year. Yeah. So Jim, that's quite an introduction. I want to say this real quick, and then I'm going to read the proverb. Our father and mother. Maybe some of you guys already know this. Hey, welcome, Race.
Hey,
Hey
what's
there,
up, man?
Theo.
Your
Hi.
father and your mother have something to do with who you are and your decision making. So, if there's something wrong with your decision making, where do you go? Right? Because you can't go back in time and say, "Dad, come on, Dad, man, what you're showing me right now, Dad, is not the right thing." We often think that it's what we heard, right? We often think it's what they told us. Well, we heard some great advice and this and the other thing, but it's not what we heard as children that really have shaped us. On even to this day, we know that it's what we saw. It's it's the unspoken language that we saw. That's what really impacted us. And I think, well, that's why sometimes it's very hard for some people. For some people, it's very, very hard to stop doing some kind of behavior. Um, and it may be costing them everything. Yet, if you can get to that point where you can recognize that, wow, you know, something is actually causing this to take place. Is there a possibility that I can change the behavior? Right?
One thing that I think about there, Santos, is where do we go? You talked about where do we go when we have conflict. I think a lot of us go to the comfort zone, comfort zone. What feels good? Comfort zone feels the best. Running
Yeah.
away, maybe blowing up in anger. That's the comfort zone because it makes us feel, in control, powerful, in front of other people. Maybe that's our comfort zone,
Well,
maybe escaping.
yeah. Well, there's many reasons, but what I'm saying is, what's really interesting is when you begin to understand, like, um, not so much, uh, maybe why you're doing something, but what, because if you know why you're doing something or what's causing that, you can replace that behavior, right? If you don't think you can replace behavior, you're not going to try to, you won't try to attempt to replace behavior. Let me get into the proverb real quick, and then we'll see if Race wants to join in. And again, thank you. Welcome, Keith and Eric and whoever else is watching. There's a few other you guys. Hey, welcome, New Year. Laura, welcome. Safety on the roads. Who else is here? Let me see. Okay. So I'm reading out of the Psalm today. It's a beautiful Psalm. It's beautifully raining here in Stockton, by the way. Um, it's therapy. But I did watch a vehicle cross the train tracks when the train was still on the tracks, and I thought, man, what a knucking foot to cross the train while the markers are still going ding 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 ding. It just, anyways. Praise ye the Lord. I will praise the Lord with my whole heart in the assembly of the upright and in the congregation. The works of the Lord are great, sought out of all them that have pleasure therein. This is interesting because it says the works. It doesn't say the words, but the works. And it says that God's work is honorable and glorious, and his righteousness endures forever. I love that. That's a marker, that's an anchor for me, for my life. I was listening to, in fact, I was listening to part of the Red Book today. I'm not going to say that I really agree with Carl Jung. Carl Jung, I don't agree with everything he has in his philosophy as a doctor, but he had some very, very good merit to what he was sharing in the Red Book. And again, it goes back to life, and it goes back to the answers and all of these things, the conflict that we, you know, if there's no conflict, Jim, let me say this. My point of interest number one is number one, conflict shows us. What does conflict shows us? What if you didn't have any, Jim, what if you didn't have any conflict at all, right? None.
I
Or
think if you
race.
don't have any conflict, I think that you can go out and live a happier life. It almost seems like you can be living a happier life if you don't have any conflict. That's why I kind of joke around with Eric and say, a life would be a lot easier if we were sociopaths because we wouldn't have to worry about what other people thought, and like get pained emotionally by, what we say and do, you know. But, there are things, there are values that we have, programmed values, maybe you can go and say, and it causes this kind of conflict. It's like, well, I don't want to hurt their feelings, right? I want to go and destroy our relationship, right? But I know I'm supposed to go out and be doing this, you know. You see, conflict. It's tough. And I think it kind of ties to fear. It's like, what am I afraid of losing? If I make a particular decision, what are my costs? What are my benefits? You talk about how do we go out and just deal with conflict? And it seems to me it's a weighing game. What if I choose something? Is it going to cause me more harm than good?
Well, I'm going to get race perspective here, but here's the thing that I want us to think about here. Number one, this is point of interest number one, by the way, right? Point of interest number one. What if there is no conflict, right? Now, what does that really mean? And Jim, you brought up some valuable points, right? Peace, right? There's peace, right? Where there's no war. In fact, peace means the cessation of war. Yet, what is conflict showing us? Race. What do you think conflict is showing us? I know that conflict doesn't feel good. I know I don't like conflict.
Yeah, I feel like conflict is when something bad is brewing within you. A gambler's conflicted with his thoughts. He can't think of the correct thing to do. So I feel like to focus really on beating the internal battle, you should focus on just staying true to what's important to you. Because gambling it has a lot of consequences deeper than just the gamble. You know.
Yeah, so in other words, you talked about the consequences of gamble. Is that a conflict?
Yeah, because there
Okay.
shouldn't be. You shouldn't put yourself in a position in life if you're a responsible person to be in conflict with yourself. Like a gambling addict is in conflict with himself. You know.
Yeah, exactly. Truth. But what is
Yeah.
conflict though? Let me ask you. Right now we're talking about conflict, right? If there was no conflict, would you know that you need something?
No.
Would you know that you need peace in your life if there was no conflict? Providing peace exists in the world apart from conflict, but we
Right.
know that's not in this world. That doesn't exist, right? It's yin yang.
So maybe you're talking about the idea of survival. I think that's the name of the
No, no,
game.
no. What I'm bringing up here, Jim, is what you spoke about last week. The fact that we experience conflict. The point being with conflict that conflict is showing us something, Jim, is what I'm getting at here. Conflict isn't just there to be there. It's not there because it's fun time. Conflict is there. It's staring us in the eye. It is showing us. That's my point of interest here, number one. Now, you have to ask yourself, what is it showing you?
I think if you're
Conflict is
really,
showing you something. Conflict is exposing something. Think about it this way, right? We spoke about this earlier. I had a cat, beautiful cat. So we put a collar on the cat. Probably shouldn't have done that. Male cat, big cat. the collar got caught from the back of the neck around half of the jaw, and we saw the cat thrashing around. I don't even know how. I thought it was gonna. Personally, I thought it was gonna basically kill itself. Well, obviously, us human beings, we're a little bit brave and we're willing to take on a challenge. Sometimes we're willing to even save an animal. Well, me and Dennis attempted to save that animal. We got opened up a little bit with those claws. It wasn't nice. It was almost unbearable at some point, but we were able to get that collar off that cat. My point is conflict. It took conflict in order for us to achieve the victory. And does that say something to us today? Can it say? Because I'll tell you one thing. I don't like conflict, Jim. I don't even like confrontation, man. Why?
I think it's a clash of values, Santos. I think it's a clash of values. Survival on one hand, doing the right thing, based upon your values is another. They come into conflict. Doing the right thing maybe doesn't always feel good, doesn't make you the most popular person in the room, right? But
Yeah.
I mean, what do you value more, doing the right thing, or having peace, having peace with other people?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's a tough thing right there. It's like, well, I don't want to hurt these people. I don't want them to make them angry, but I got to go and do the right thing to what I believe in. These are my values. But I also value the relationships that I have with these people too. I mean, what do I do? And some people want the comfort zone. It's easier and faster to go ahead and please the people and say, oh, that's okay, and everyone's okay for that moment. But later down the road, something bad happens. And it's like, you know what? I should have stuck to my values, even though it was painful making that decision. Leaving the casino is painful, I'm sure, right? With your losses, that's losses. Maybe a more, another thought is, well, I have the chance of getting it back. Maybe, that's another possibility. Maybe belief in yourself. Well, that's a value. I got to believe in myself. I got to believe in myself. I can go back there and, make the money. I've done it before. Why not this time? No, come on. No.
Yeah. The conflict, the conflict is definitely exposing where, and we think, well, and we know that it's really not even the conflict, right? It's not the conflict, is it, Race? Is the problem with the sports betting and Joe down the street that handles the parlays and all that? Is the problem with him? Is that the conflict?
No, it's just gambling is just a distraction, and people, they get bored with their 9 to 5, and they get too deep into a habit, and one thing turns into another, and by the time you know it, you're chasing losses. And you just have to realize that quitting gambling is it's a shift of the perspective. You have to realize that it's more worth it to not gamble than it is to gamble.
Yeah, and we're gonna come to Mike. I got a really strong call to action. Somebody else here that wants to join today here? No. I thought we had somebody else that wanted to join. The camera is not chicken. By the way, this live cast, this epi right here, number 600, it should have been 601. It's definitely not for skeletons, because skeletons don't fight. They don't want any conflict at all, right? And we know why. We know why skeletons don't fight, right? And anybody can chime in and share why. So it's not for skeletons.
They got no guts.
There we go. That was just a joke there. All right, we're going to get into number 2. Is it good that you see these things, right? Is it good that we see? Is it good that we see? Is it good that we see things? Or is it better to be like they say, is ignorance bliss, right? Is ignorance bliss? No, I don't see anything. Therefore, I don't know what to fix, right? It's like you're opening up the hood of a car and but there's no engine. Okay, well, what are you going to fix? I don't know what to fix. There's no engine in here. You got to see. You got to be able to see. You got to be able to see what it is that you're right. If it would be good if we lived like I explained this. In fact, I was on a live feed, wasn't I, a couple of days ago, and I said utopia would be a place that we could live perfectly in righteousness and holiness perfectly. And I believe that's coming, Jim. I really do. I'm naive enough to believe that the Bible teaches that we're going to go to a place, and is everybody going to go there? From my understanding, not everybody's going to go there. But there is a place that's called the land of righteousness, where this place that you speak of this thought, where we think of also utopia, because that's what we want. We want this utopia. I believe that
I hope.
exists and it's coming. I believe that,
Yeah, I hope.
but there's a price. There's a conflict. In other words, there's a conflict between here and there.
It's kind of interesting, Santos. I think about life as organization, not chaos. And it takes energy, right? It takes energy to organize stuff. And when you're dealing with chaos and you need to go ahead and organize it to something that's good and well running, there's going to be friction. There's going to go out and be heat generated. When you are trying to take something that's disorganized, that's in chaos, and you're trying to put it back together, kind of like a problem gambler, right? You're out of control. You're making wrong decisions, right? I mean, and when you realize that conflict, Santos, sometimes it's scary because you don't know what to do. Maybe it shines a light upon,
Yeah.
yourself. Maybe you don't like what you see. Oh my gosh, you said ignorance is bliss. Yeah, there's no conflict right there. But sometimes I would think that you would really, really need to, you got to face yourself. And that is a conflict right there.
Right there, Jim. Right there, Jim. Right there. FYY. Face your. Actually, it's FYS. Right there. That's a little bit ahead of the podcast. Can you see my notes? No, I'm just kidding.
Uh-huh.
We're going to get there. Number two, is it good that you see these things, right? Is it good that you see this conflict? Is it good that you see that you have problems with gambling? Is it good that you see you have problems with pornography or masturbation or smoking or drinking? Is it good that you see these things, or is it good that you don't see these things at all? Is it good that you see, well, damn, man, you know what? I had 20 grand, I had 30 grand in my account 6 months ago, and today I got 4,000. A year ago, I had $50,000 or $100,000 in my bank account. A year ago, I had $100,000 in my bank account, and a year now, I've got $6,000. Is it good that we see these conflicts or not? Is it good, Jim? Is it good that I see the conflicts in my life? Right? What if I just woke up every day and I'm going through pain, I'm going through problems, I'm difficulty with people, having problems with my job, I can't make it at work, man. Man, my bosses are always picking on me, man. It's they're always on me, my bosses. And am I losing myself here? Seeing the good or the bad. Is it good? Is it good that others see, right? What do you do? Well, my boss, I remember my boss used to ride me all the time, and Jim, honestly, I didn't understand why, man. I thought I was a decent worker. I did. Why? I thought I was. I believed. I showed up. I was there. He had a bit of an attitude, though, Jim. Maybe he was a gambler. I don't know. But, and he was a little bit bigger than me. And I could tell he kind of had it in for me, but I didn't. And maybe I just wasn't the best worker. But you see, I was a civilian. I was good. I was pretty good at what I did on the ship as an engineer, but I wasn't the best when I got out as a civilian person, and that frustrated. Anyways, We don't need to go there because we're talking about. And if you got any questions, please put it in the comments. Thank you for the comments there, Mark, Laura. I gave you. You guys are some of my star students here. Eric's not with us, is he? Yeah, there's Eric. I saw Eric out of time. So, Race, what do you think, man? Uh, it's like we're going into the year. We're going into the year 2026. Is it good for us to discuss this topic of internal conflict and possibly maybe even how we could really get out, not get out of it. We're not going to get out of internal conflict. That's not. We're going to have internal conflict all the way till the deathbed. But to manage it and to be maybe to be a little bit more, what do you say, optimistic?
Yeah. Yeah, like for me, I'm thankful that I have such a perspective now where it's like I don't rush to conclusions. I don't tie my self-worth to money. I believe, once you chase your passion and you love something enough, the money's going to come naturally. So that you don't worry about the money, and yeah, you really got to avoid the internal conflicts, just be at peace with yourself. Everybody makes mistakes, but you can always do better. There's always so much opportunity in the day. If gambling teaches you one thing, it's don't waste your time with bad addictions that just waste all your time and your money and lose your sanity with it. So just stay grounded and stay to your true self.
And I'm feeling that way about cryptocurrency too. I'm starting to realize that um, I think I've got more important things to be focusing on, and
Yeah.
because we may not realize it, but we're gambling in one area or another, and either it could be with our own life,
Yeah. Like
right? We could.
I don't have enough accountability. Like I need more things in my life to be accountable. So I have to look back and say, okay, how can I change things so I can be more accountable? And I think I might get a gym membership soon, so that would be a good way to stay accountable. Just say
Yeah,
I'm going to go 2 times a day. I'm going to go 1 time in the morning right before bed, a little bit of cardio, and just do that for like 5 times a week for the first couple weeks and see if I can do it.
I think I think that we we hibernate too much. I think that we do that especially as men, and we really need to be. I guess we need to break out of the mold that we may be in, but we have to do it carefully. It's not,
Right.
oh, I'm gonna just break out of the mold. No, there's ways to do that, but you have to be around people that are worthy of your time,
Right. People
is
who
what I'm
respect
saying.
you, people who
Yeah,
respect you and value you for what you do for them.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for this broadcast. And sometimes it's hard for me to even come here too. Jim and Race and everybody else. Sometimes it challenges me because, we all can look at ourselves and say, well, woe is me, man. I'm just a low baller, man. And well, you might be that way. Maybe you are so humble that that's just the way it is for you right now. Yet there's always purpose. And I say, well, if we're still here and we're alive, maybe purpose is hiding on you. Maybe it's eluding you, right? Somewhere. Where's purpose, man? I got to go find it somewhere. So maybe it's hiding under the car in the backyard, somebody's shed. I got to go find purpose. I believe that if we gather together, men, especially men, and we share and we come to the right place, we grow together, we expand, and it's going to be a lot easier for us going
I
forward.
wanted I wanted to ask you and Jim Santos, like, what can we do to be better men for our communities? Like, what do we need to do? Like, because I've been working and helping these older folks. This older guy is in a wheelchair. I helped them this
Mhm.
past year. I don't know if I spoke to you guys about it, probably didn't, but I help these older people sometimes clean their yard and stuff because they can't do it. Maybe there's more things we have to do in our communities to show that we are men that empower communities. Do we have to give back to homeless people or
Well,
volunteer?
you did a good act. You don't have to kill yourself out there. Hey, there might be other people in your community that might need the same work, but you can't get to that, right? Maybe you can do one. Maybe you can help one person here. Maybe you can help another person over there, and that's it. I'm not gonna feel guilty because I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? There's
Yeah,
times where you gotta just there's times where you gotta just say no. You gotta just say no. And yeah, it's going to hurt. I know, Jim, you understand this. Sometimes it hurts when you have to say no, but you have to learn to say no right at the appropriate time if you can. There's a proverb that I live by. I try to live by, and it's this: faithful are the wounds. Uh, faithful are the wounds of a friend. A friend will wound you sometimes. A good friend will wound you sometimes, but that's not to hurt you. It's for growth. A good doctor, somebody that knows that needs to cut inside you to get something out, that doctor knows you're gonna hurt, man. You're gonna go through it in order to heal. That doctor knows it, but he's willing to go through that process in order to get to the good part, if that makes sense. Um, but we have to say no at times. We have to be willing to say no, and then there's times when we say yes. I can do, I can give, I can share, right? And feel good
yeah,
about what you do. Don't don't let I know one thing, you don't let other people put trips on you, man. You don't let other put labels on you. You don't let people put that's how you if you really want to serve other people, you got to be free. You got to be a freedom thinker yourself, because if not, you're going to be driven by people around you, and sometimes it
yeah.
takes a little bit. It takes a little bit to grow.
Yeah, people love to plant those seeds of doubt in your mind. Whenever you say you want to be great and do good things, they want to tell you you'll never get there. You got to do this right. You're not doing that right. This looks like trash.
Yeah.
They look at your work, they call it garbage. That's how people always are. I don't know what we have to do to avoid those people, but I think it's all about just, I don't know, shutting down the outside noise.
Yeah. I pray. That's what I do. I pray because I know you see, when you know yourself, you know your shortcomings. I can't go around and point a finger. I'm going to throw rocks at man, that guy's house. There's times, we get jealous,
Right.
and we feel inferior, or we feel uh, whatever, we feel inferior or whatever. It's what's really important is that who you are, right? Who are you? At least, where are you going? What do you stand for anything? Are you willing to at least live, right? You got to somehow live that, not just talk about it, but you got to live it. You got to live it somehow. Well, man, I don't care. You're making an effort. If you're trying, it's like people that come here every Sunday. You may think, well, that's an accomplishment to me, because there's people that don't even come here anymore. We've been doing this for a while. There's people that used to come here all the time. I remember the numbers, and I've watched the numbers go down, and they're no longer here. And this is just 30, 45 minutes. Yeah, it's torture. This is conflict here.
It's a
It is.
podcast. It's
It,
it's a live
it,
power hour,
it,
however you want to call it.
it is. You guys are glutton for punishment here. I'm telling you, just like I am. But it's all good. All right, we got to wind this down. We got to get Jim. We've got Jim. I see Jim's mind rolling here, but number three, what can you do? All right, we're going to come to the call to action here again. Listen, if you're new here, I'm going to invite you to subscribe. If you need some water, email me. Right, there's a coaching session. There's So there's a couple of tools available. All you got to do is email. It's available. All right. I just asked if you can do $7. If you can do that, $7. If you can do more, great. $7 donates to the mission. It helps out a little bit, and it just helps. It helps with the platform. Okay, and maybe I can do more, and we can do more together. So if you have a question, never be afraid. The stupid or the dumb question is the one that's not asked. Okay, that's the truth. The dumb one is the one that's not asked. So I don't care what questions are being presented on this platform. If we can answer it, if we can pull a rabbit, if I can pull a rabbit out of my back pocket. I see. I know you guys are dirty minds. You thought I was going to say pull it out of my rear. No, you guys remember the magic hat? Anybody here remember the magic hat? I'm sure Race, maybe Jim might.
Maybe.
Jim, you remember the magic hat?
The
You
magic.
could actually, yeah, it was probably about 45 years ago.
Magic hat. No.
You could wear the magic hat on your head. It had a little, you could fill it with water, and when you, like a gentleman, when you bow over to invite your guests to the magic show, you can squirt them with the magic hat. My point is, you could pull a rabbit right out of that magic hat, but it wasn't a real rabbit. It was a kerchief. It was like a what do you call that? A kerchief, a handkerchief.
Handkerchief.
Yeah, like yeah, but it was a picture of a big rabbit, and you could pull it up, and it looked like it was a big rabbit. Anyways, that's not what I'm talking about here. Pulling a rabbit out of my back pocket. Yeah, if that makes sense. Anyways. Go ahead, Jimmy. You got some thoughts? We're coming down to the wire here, man. We're 36 minutes into this. By the way, us humans, have created a machine. I don't know, Race, did you mention this earlier, or did Jim? We've created a machine, and we're feeding this machine. It runs on some kind of oil, right? Jim has his own machine. Race has his. I've got mine. You got yours. What kind of oil are you putting into that? Anyways, what's your thoughts, Jim, on this?
Getting back to Mateo's question, how are we supposed to help others? I think, Mateo, you basically are helping people by helping yourself. I mean, I remember you being on the feed, the Sunday Night Lives, and I remember you were really struggling. So going back, and it was frustrating, kind of down on yourself. But to see this change, right? To see this transformation, your personal development, your self-improvement, I think, is, basically how you are helping other people, because, there's people who are not showing up on the chat, but they're watching. And I'm sure that they've been here for a while, and they seen your comments, and I said, oh my gosh, this guy transformed. If he can do it, I can do it. Same with Santos, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's very important that we need to focus. Yes, it's important to help others, and there are ways. You were talking about accountability, getting other people involved, right? Like going to the gym, right? It's like a gym buddy, right? You help him, he helps you, doing the right thing. You're helping yourself, right? You're helping him, he's helping you. It's a win-win situation right there. And that's what we want, that's what we want. But we have to go and kind of look in the mirror and see, how can I work on myself? How can I be more aware of my thoughts? How can I be more aware and face my conflicts, and not run away from these conflicts in my mind? How can I go ahead and stop and, have the courage to deal with these conflicts, unlock these conflicts, kind of unwrap them and see, do they have, are they just a bunch of lies? Like that book that I was talking about last week, A Course in Miracles. They talk about all these conflicts that we have, all right? Being vigilant with all these conflicts. A lot of these are lies that we've concocted in our mind from years and years of programming, years of programming, and that conflict, that friction, right? burning energy, could be a bunch of lies. So we have to kind of like look at this conflict and say, am I lying to myself? Are these feelings that I'm getting, is because of a bunch of lies that I program myself or people have programmed myself into, right? All these things, if we can, take these little steps of getting better, getting better, that's how I believe we can go ahead and make change with other people, right? Gandhi says it, right? Be the change you want to see in the world, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's the way.
And but again, change can come. Well, God can create change, and we create change as human beings. I believe the best change comes out of some sort of knowledge, right? Some sort of revelation, an understanding, an awakening, if you will. You just have an awakening, and it fires you up. And so, yeah, we need to be reminded. I like to say that your good life is going to come out of a good series. We need environment, just like a gym, right? We need a gym. Well, you can create your own gym if you have your own place. You can have your weights and stuff, but sometimes it's better to be around people that are energized there. They're energized, and you get around them and you just get it. You get it, man, right? You go to the gym. It's hard for you to sit like a frog on a lily pad on a gym. It's kind of difficult. Can it be done? Yeah, but you're not going to feel good about it generally, because there's an energy in there. There's people, and that brain power, like I always say, 2 brain power, 3 brain power people, and then you got muscle heads in there. We release energy from our minds. You got muscle heads in there full on steroids. You don't think that power's in the gym? Well, you go in there, you're going to get some of that. I imagine that can be true, right? But in order to have, you got to have conflict. And I look at the questions. I appreciate the questions, Keith, Barry, speaking about the consequences of trust, speaking about the fact is that we're not going to do everything that we set out to do. There's times that we're just going to say, no, I'm going to go do this thing anyways. Why do we do that, right? Why is it that you do something when, and I'll tell you why. The reason is because you don't stop to think, right? You want to call it habit. You can call it habit. It's a practice. It's become, if you're not careful, Race, you talked about this. It becomes instinct. You automatically make yourself like instinct.
Yeah.
So you're not even thinking, again, why is it that I have all kinds of issues, right? We all do. We have to confront these things. We can't sweep them under the rug. We have to confront them some way or another. We have to confront them. The
Yeah.
way that we have to confront them is we're going to have to stop and think. At some point, we're going to have to come to the conclusion and tell ourselves, okay, I've been here before. I know what I'm feeling, and I know why I'm going through this, right? This has to do with the fact that maybe I didn't get enough love from my mother when I was a young child. It may have to come from the fact that my father was never home for me, and I didn't have that discipline that I needed as a young child, and I realized that. That's what it's come to, okay? But the fact that I can stop and think about this, now I have a choice here. And the problem is that we're bypassing that scenario that I just explained. We're bypassing it, right?
Yeah.
And okay, well, how is it? Either we're losing it completely, or we're not in the right places to get some kind of motivation or inspiration or thought or
Yeah.
vision.
I think what motivated me the most was it was this yearning deep inside me of wanting to see a more responsible version of me, like getting sick of being the guy to just go blow all his money. I wanted to be the guy that people say, wow, he's got his life together. I started envisioning like a more successful version of me, like, and I knew it's all tied to my self-limiting beliefs I have about money. If I didn't have so many self-limiting beliefs about money, I wouldn't be shocked when I saw other people with money or nice things, because I know that anybody can have those things. It's just about what actions do you take every day? Do you really want to be there? Are you putting yourself in the position to be where you want to be every day, every hour, every minute? And then when I heard successful people talking like that, I was like, I'm just now getting into this, but I'm getting very motivated with just like self-discipline. Like, I'm reading productive books. Like, I want to learn how to be more productive. And one thing they speak about is getting in the zone. Being in the zone that athletes get in, where like the good stuff that you do is just instinctual. So you just got to flip the script. There's a script playing in your mind where it's like, I got to keep gambling. But if you really want to get successful, the gamble is what's holding you back. Once you eliminate that, there's no blockades. You can just go, just run, just go be successful. You got this.
It's you, right? It's you. Like Jim said, you, right? You cause and effect. You change your life. You affect other people. It's really you. It's not even the gamble. It's not the anger, right? It's not the customer. It's not the bicycle that comes in different color. It's not that, well, I, I don't get, I might get a $7 donation. I might get a few donations. I might not get none. That's not the issue. It's the person that you see in the mirror, like Michael Jackson said, the man in the mirror. So, but again, let me say this. I'm going to iterate this because we're coming down, and I want to give you one good call to action. I'm going to give you a step to follow, and you can follow this step if you want to. I try to do it at least every other day. I try to. What I'm going to share with you here as a call to action. Um, oh, call to action. What can you do? So, first of all, I do want to say, oh, before I did, I think was there a question here? No, I do want to thank all of you guys for being here with us. And I see the questions. Again, coming back from going back, I tell you, I think about my mom and dad, and my dad's passed away and my mom is still alive, and I pray for her. I see things a lot differently. I have a different type of love for them. I think it's a deeper love, but it's an understanding of love, because, I often think, well, what was my mom's mom like? What was my dad's dad like? I remember my grandfather, and I've heard stories. The guy was not a good guy. On my mother's side, I don't really understand too much of that childhood, but I know that there was some tragedies. I've had some family members that took their lives in some really uh, weird ways and stuff like that. So we have to think, has any of that affected us to make decisions today and how we think and all of that? And we have to be able to say, yeah, it has. And when we understand this area a little bit better, I believe we can make decisions and say, okay, if I'm meeting this need, doing it this way, why can't I do it a different way? Right? I could do it this way. But the thing is getting yourself to stop. That's where the challenge is. You're doing 75 miles an hour, and most people don't stop. They go right past, boom. And well, why can't we stop doing that thing, man? I know I shouldn't have that last drink, man. I drank too much, but man, I did it anyways. You were doing 75, man? How do you get yourself to stop and think about that scenario right there? Man, my dad, my mom, why am I making this decision right now? It's a process, and I'm going to sit here and say it's easy. It's not an easy process. It's doable. But here's what I recommend. Practice awareness. That's my goal. Okay? So you're either going to go numb, or you're going to grow strong. All right? Recognize you can think. Repeat that to yourself every morning if you have to. Recognize I can think. Even just that statement alone might impact somebody's life somewhere, because most people don't stop to say that. I can think. I can think, right? A good plan is this: practice awareness. That's my call to action, folks. Practice awareness wherever you can, however you can do it, however you need to do it. Practice awareness. And one way that I would recommend is, I always say this when you come to this broadcast: be here. Be here. Practice on being here. 45 minutes, be here. Um, Being present, learning how to be present matters. It matters what you get out of something, because people can come here and just be here. And you know what? Like a frog on a lily pad, or like they say, a little spider at the bottom of the tub getting ready to wash away, you get nothing out of it. And I don't want to waste anybody's time. And I surely, your time is valuable, folks. Don't waste your. I would say, if you feel like you ever not getting anything, I wouldn't even come here. I wouldn't come here. But if you're coming here, there's a reason for it. So always remember that. Share that, comment, like, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next Sunday for sure at 7:30. And Laura says, take notes. So I believe Laura's probably taking notes. Anyways, that's all I have, folks. I want to thank each and every one of you. And by the way, this was Epi number 601, I believe, the first episode of the new year. So thank you guys. Jim, I'm going to give you here about 30 minutes. No, about 30 seconds, a minute. And then I'm going to give the floor to Race, and we're going to end the broadcast. And this is it. Looking forward to the next. And again, ideas. I'm open to ideas. What have you? Send an email. You need some tools. You need some support. We're here. We're here. Jim?
Yeah, I was saying in the comments that we've been programmed to do good things and bad things, and when we do these actions, it's kind of based upon feelings, and it gets reinforced. Like if I do one thing, it feels this way. If I do another thing, it feels that way. And then these habits start happening, and we're doing things really without thinking. So I'm gonna go out and just throw this out there, just a challenge. It's like dig deep, right? Dig deep into your mindfulness and your awareness. It's like, why did I do this? Why did I think this? Why did I feel this? Where did this come from? Let me go ahead and dig deep. Let me dig deep into my past and find the connections. Where did this bad feeling come from? This negative feeling, this nervousness come from? This anxiety, this anger. It's like, and think, is this something acceptable? Is this truth, or is this a lie? What brought this about, these feelings? And then you start questioning them, and then you can go and say, you know what? I'm not falling for this lie anymore. I'm not going to be programmed, and I'm not going to go ahead and feel this way. I'm not going to be triggered this way anymore. I'm aware of it. I know it. It's a lie. And, I'm going to be above it. I'm going to be above it. So that's what I say. Dig deep into your awareness.
Yep. Practice awareness. Race?
Yeah,
Practice awareness. Yeah.
this is the first week of the new year, so I just want to ask you guys if anyone wants to join me on a challenge to go gambling free for all year until 2027, the whole year. 1 year challenge. All right, we're going to do this, and I can't wait to see your guys' results, because you're going to see mine in about 3 to 4 or 5 months, so I can't wait, and let's do this.
Yeah, maybe you can go and create like maybe a Google Doc, a spreadsheet or something like that, and people can go ahead and you can go throw out an invite, and people can go ahead and put down the week. What did you do? What kind of strategies you had? What kind of challenges?
You know what might be cool is if we could do something like this, and have a pool where people can actually put a few dollars and into a pool, and in 6 months we could have like something given to somebody for their efforts and stuff. I think that would be cool if it could be done, but If anybody has a way of putting something like that together, I mean, it'd be like a fund, right? Like a fund. And it would be like a prize for a challenge. I don't know about a year. That might be maybe 6 months at a time. 3 to 6 months at a time might be something. Might be something to think about. Inspire people to, hey, never know. But thank you, Race. I appreciate you coming on and out there all the way. I don't know how the weather is out there, but I'm sure it's probably not sunshiny and like it usually is out here in California. But we're
Nope.
getting a lot of rain too out here. So so.
I
Yep.
still try and exercise even though there's a bunch of snow outside, but what can you do?
Yeah.
That's
Hey,
why I'm
every
trying
little
to go
bit.
to the gym.
So, yeah.
Exactly. Yep. Jim?
Yeah, so Race, I like that idea. I mean, that's where you're helping yourself and you're helping other people. You can go and have some type of public, deal. People can go and input stuff. You can put your it's basically like a public log,
Like a spreadsheet?
Yeah, like a spreadsheet, some type of Google document where, you can input, create like maybe a
Okay.
database or something, and people can be invited to it. And, you don't have to put your real name or whatever, but you can go out and put down, okay, this is what I did. These are my challenges, right?
Yeah.
My
I like
temptation.
that.
Yeah. And it's like, you're doing it, and then, everyone has an opportunity to go ahead and see that. And then they can go ahead and participate too. And it's like developing a community, right? And people are
Yeah.
encouraging one another, I mean, I
Yeah.
think that's something that you might want to look into.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Because
why.
everybody involved would actually chip in. So
Yeah,
that
that
actually puts accountability, at least some accountability on. You know what I'm
that's
saying?
why
Yeah.
that's why I
Yeah.
was thinking you should have a community like a mobile app so people can have a community where they go in and
Well, I
have
do on
milestones.
YouTube. We do on YouTube, but I haven't. I mean, the thing is, I need moderation and I need some support with everything because sometimes I can get a lot of comments and what is it? In Ireland. It's snowing in Ireland.
Oh man.
Oh man, we miss it. How do we go fund? How do we go fund? Well, if we get something together, hopefully it'll be like a challenge, and who knows, maybe might invite on other gamblers that are looking for a way to quit. They might see, wow, there's, you could win a prize or something, but I don't know. We can't make it into a gamble. It just has to be a participation where we work together. It's for accountability, first of all. It's not even for the prize, but eventually, hey, if you're accountable, you get the prize, right? All right, folks, I got to get off the airwaves. There's so much that we can do to support the mission and support you on the other side. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. I hope you appreciate yourselves. I'll see you guys on my next broadcast. At the top on the inside, peace through strength. Bye, Race. Bye, Jim.
Peace
Laura,
out.
Eric, Barry, Eric. Hey, Dumpster Ops. Have a good year. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. And it was Barry and Mark and Jim and there was others that came on here too, and I appreciate you guys too, except the invisible men and the invisible women. I appreciate all of them. All right. Be with us next Sunday, or who knows, we may have an episode this Wednesday or Thursday. Pardon me. This week coming up. Thank you guys.
Thanks, Santos. Thanks, Mateo.
Bye guys.
Everyone. All right.